you all know what pity means. Yeah, it's a pity. But actually, in American English, and in movies, for example, because the majority of most movies come from Hollywood, so most movies are American English. Yeah, American English is more popular than British English. It's a pity is okay in Great Britain only. In the rest of the world, people say it's a shame. Shame means it's a shame. It's a pity. It's a pity. Or, for example, a lot of times I hear people say, students, English learners say, be polite to your interlocutor. Have you ever heard this word, interlocutor? Interlocutor, it's a person who you talk to. But the thing is, like here in the United States, and from native speakers, I even asked this question: do you ever use the word interlocutor? No, this is like some academic old school word. People don't actually use this. People say be polite with the person, or be polite to the person you talk to. That's all. That's pretty much it. Another thing, they always quarrel. They always quarrel. You know the word quarrel or not? Tell me yes or no. And no, this webinar is not recorded. So relax, guys. Relax. And instead of looking for faults, instead of looking for failures, instead of commenting on what other people are doing, look at yourself first, okay? And, first of all, you need to take care of yourself, and then look at other people, okay? And instead of distracting my audience in the chat right now, instead of asking questions that are not relevant to improving your English, you better be learning what quarrel means and what it doesn't mean. So quarrel, again, this word is not popular in modern English. In American English, for example, people don't use quarrel, people use fight. For example, when you say, what I was just doing, I was just fighting with one of the people who, asked unnecessary, irrelevant question, right? I was fighting with them. Well, fighting, it doesn't mean I was doing this. I was verbally arguing. Yeah. So instead of saying quarrel, in modern English, we say fight. That is why, guys, you are here. You are doing my modern English challenge because you want to speak modern English. But when you learn English using textbooks, especially old-fashioned, especially old schools books, you will learn words like pity, interlocutor, quarrel, or, for example, sometimes people say she's the heroine of the story. No, she's the protagonist of the story. So my point is that you need to learn things that are actually modern and relevant. You need to learn words that people actually use in daily life. And that is why you need to choose the program that is modern and the program that will help you improve your vocabulary with relevant information. Yeah, by the way, it's relevant, not actual. Sometimes people say actual vocabulary. No, it's relevant vocabulary. Stop using words and phrases that nobody uses. Use words and phrases that actually everyone uses. And tip number 3, write down new words in your notes on your phone. My recommendation is to do it on your phone, So this is what I do actually. Even I'm an English teacher, even though I live in the United States, this is what I do. So I have my app, and I have in my app, I have, a note where I write down interesting phrases or interesting words or something that I learned every day. My recommendation, do the same thing. For example, this is, I don't know, I did some of the words that I did, that I wrote down recently, like a tongue in cheek means ironic humor and things like that. So technically, yes. So technically you need to write down new words in notes on your phone. If you have iPhone or if you have an Android or any other phone, it doesn't matter. Every phone has this app. It's not a special app. This is an inbuilt phone, an inbuilt app on your phone, technically. Alrighty. Moving on, guys. And you know what? This is what I told you. When people do what I recommend them to do, this is what they do. They can learn sometimes 50 new words a day, like during the webinar. We will see how many words you will learn, actually. Now let's talk about grammar. I'm ready to talk about grammar. What grammar you need to know for 90% of conversations? Well, the question that I get a lot is how to understand the freaking grammar. Freaking is a polite way to say fucking, you know that, right? So if you don't want to be rude, don't say fucking, say freaking. Yeah, freaking is okay to say. Well, first of all, you need to learn top grammar tenses. Here are top grammar tenses: present simple, present continuous. 80% of conversation you will say talking about present. So that's why use present simple or present continuous. Past simple or past continuous. When you talk about past events, telling stories about something that you did in the past, I technically want to you can just use past simple or past continuous. Present perfect continuous you will use when you talk about things that you started doing in the past, but you're still doing them. For example, when I ask you the question, how long have you been learning English, and this is technically present perfect continuous, because I'm curious to know when you started English. I mean, you started learning English in the past, but you're still doing it. And future simple. Now here, I want to tell you an interesting thing about future when you talk about the future in English. Technically, don't say what will you do this weekend. Instead, say, what are you going to do this weekend? So technically, a lot of times people say, Anna, what will you do this weekend? For example, you want to know my plans for the weekend. And you say, Anna, what will you do this weekend? This is actually not a good idea. And native speakers don't say that. Native speakers would say, what are you going to do this weekend, guys? So now when you want to talk about plans, talking about future plans, use going to and not will. Okay, going to and not will, because will is not used for plans. Will is used for promises. For example, when you remember when we were setting your English goals, and I told you to say, I will do this. It's okay, because you promise yourself. I will practice English every day. Yeah, I will watch movies in English. That's totally fine. What are you going to do this weekend is about plans. Yes, Taras, I'm with you, and I don't understand why instead of listening to me and learning English, you are being driven by a person who are here not to learn anything. That is why, yes, I'm here. It's a live webinar, and I am really disappointed that you can be distracted by other people so easily, and you don't trust your mentor. You came to my webinar and you don't trust me, and you don't trust what I am talking about here. Instead, you're wasting your time. We're wasting your time. This is what I'm telling you. Okay, guys, if you don't want to waste time like several people here, I want you to practice. I want you to tell me, what are you going to do after this webinar? And please notice that you're going to talk about your plans. That's why don't use will when talk about your plans. I want you to use going to, talking about your plans. Please share in the comments, share with me what you're going to do after this webinar. Go ahead. What are you going to do after this webinar? I hope you're going to follow my Instagram page. I hope for that. Cheers to that as well. I hope you are going to learn more about my courses, and I will tell you actually more about my courses. I'm going to tell my friend about this webinar. Yes, Sasha, great job, great job. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, sounds good, sounds good. Awesome, yeah. Well, I am going, so let me tell you what I'm going to do next. Next, I am going to tell you about more grammar topics that you need to focus on when improving your English. So on top of the grammar tenses that we have discussed right now, I want you also to learn modal verbs. Must, have to, should, might, may, can, could. You will use them all the time. Modal verbs are really important. Articles, of course, articles, you know, you need to use articles before nouns, so learn articles. Prepositions, learn how to use prepositions. And my recommendation, when you want to learn how to use prepositions, you need to memorize fixed expressions with prepositions. And conditionals, you also need conditionals. For daily conversations, we say if a lot. For example, if I become upper intermediate, I will find a better job. Or if I watch this webinar till the end, I will learn more about how to improve English with Anna's help, you know? So that is why I want you to focus on these grammar topics. And then, you know what, when you practice these grammar tenses, when you practice these grammar topics, you will never be, well, not never, you will still make mistakes, but you will start making fewer mistakes, and you will stop making mistakes. You will stop making mistakes in these sentences. Now tell me, can you spot, by the way, spot means notice. Yes, spot. Can you spot mistakes in these three sentences? If you can, write your answers in the chat. Write your answers in the chat. Can you spot mistakes or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let's see. Well, if you can you please write the corrected version? All right. Okay, guys. I see you can. This is great. Absolutely. So, I am agree is wrong. You should say I agree. And you know what? Why? Because agree is a verb. You don't say I am want or I am read. You say I want, I read. Agree is a verb. You don't need to use am. By the way, this is what I told you. Even people with the upper intermediate level of English, when they speak English, they make, and there are so many topics. There are so many grammar topics, but not all of them are important. You need to, first of all, in order to correct mistakes and in order to quickly improve, you need to practice what I just told you to practice, these topics. You don't need to learn everything. You need to learn only the most popular and the most relevant and the most important topics, because you don't have a lot of time, you know? You don't have a lot of time to waste. Because up until this point, up until you met me, you had been learning English for a few years or for many years, but still you don't speak English fluently. You're not happy with your result right now. And the reason why you're not happy is, well, of course, some of you had bad experience with the teacher, with the course, with the program, but a lot of people, I would say that 95% of people, we are afraid of failure. We are afraid that we won't be able to do it. Now you're listening to me and you're like, oh my God, Anna speaks English so well. By the way, guys, did you know that I moved to the United States when I was an adult and I already had my business? I learned English in Odessa, actually in Ukraine. I didn't study in America. I didn't travel to America. I learned English actually living, while I was still living in the village close to Odessa. It doesn't matter where you live, you can learn English and speak English just like me. You should not be afraid of making mistakes. You should be only focused on your goal, and your goal is to get better at English every day. You should not be afraid to make mistakes. You should actually want to make mistakes, because when people make mistakes, it means that they are moving forward. If you don't make mistakes, it means that you don't do anything. And if you don't do anything, it means that you're not moving ahead. You are staying here. You're not moving forward. That's what it is. That's why you should not be afraid of making mistakes. You should be happy that you make mistakes, because if you make mistakes, it means that you're progressing. You will notice your mistake. Other people will correct you, so technically this is what you need. You need to do something. When we do something, then we become successful. When we don't do anything, this is when we fail. So your fear should be not to make mistakes. Your fear should be not to do anything. Another reason why you are not happy with your English is because you are afraid to start. You have fears to start. You think that, so a lot of people say that, I don't need English now. I will learn it later. For example, right now, my English is pre-intermediate. It's okay for me. No, if you came to this webinar, something is not okay technically, right? So that is why you need to what? You need to start doing something. You came to this webinar. It's amazing, guys. You have to thank yourself for finding the time to come to this webinar and to improve yourself. This is amazing. It means that you have already done something in order to become successful. You have already done something to reach your goal. Some people say that, okay, my English is enough now, I will improve later. This doesn't work like this. There is a second group of people, and the second group of people, they think that it's already too late for me to learn English. I'm too old, or I already missed the opportunity, and things like that. So there are two types of people. It's too late and it's too early. But I will tell you a secret, guys. There is never a better time than now. If your destiny brought you here, and if your destiny told you, hey, English, do you want to improve it? And you're like, yes, I will join this webinar and I will see what I can do to improve my English. It means that you need it now. So there is no better time than now. Not later, not sooner, now. And there is the third fear that a lot of you have, fear of giving up. How many times have you started learning English and then you've given up? How many times, how many English courses have you taken in your life? How many English teachers have you had? How many times have you given yourself promises to, okay, this time I will learn English? How many? How many? Tell me how many? Come on. How many? 1, 2, 3. How many English courses? How many English teachers have you had in your life? How many times have you started and never completed a course, for example? I'm pretty sure many times. But and now you think the same. You're like, okay, I'm going to start this course again. I will never continue it. I will never finish it. Why again? I know I cannot be successful. She speaks English like this because she lives in America. He speaks English like this because he uses English at work all the time. You know what? Technically, this is not this shouldn't bother you, because with the right course, with the right mentor, with the right mindset means way of thinking, write down new words, you will never feel like you are falling behind. It means that you are behind everyone else. To be honest, there is another not fear, yeah, there is another problem that people have, and the problem why they are not fluent in English is, yes, because they are lazy. But also they make excuses. Like, for example, right now I can see Timofey says, I just lazy, not English environment. You know what, guys, you should forget the phrase English environment, because this is the worst excuse that people make. I just told you, but you didn't hear me. I learned to speak English like this when I lived in the village near Odessa, and then when I studied at university in Odessa, I didn't travel anywhere. I never traveled anywhere outside of Ukraine, and I was able to speak English like this. And I started working when I was 19 years old, when I was a university student. You know what? I never had a thought that, oh, I cannot learn English because there is no enough environment. This is bullshit. And especially now in present day environment, you don't need environment. You have environment. Look, you see me, I speak English with you, you write in English to me, you have this environment right now. And then if you want to continue having this environment, you can definitely. You can continue having this environment just like my students, first people think that English is too difficult, or they don't have enough environment, and the next thing that happens to them is that they tell me, Anna, thank you so much for your course and for your help, because I improved my speaking. I got rid, cancel fear of making mistakes. And I'm not afraid to speak with native speakers anymore, and I became more confident in English. This is technically what my students are telling me about learning with me. Now I have a question, guys. How many words have you written down in your notebooks? Can you tell me? Before I continue to my next stage of the webinar, how many words do you have so far? We will have more words, but I'm curious to know, how many do you have so far? How many words have you written down? 12 words, 6, okay. 11 words, all right. 13, 5, okay. 25, amazing. Awesome. 19, 11, 3. I love this. You see, everyone can learn something. Now, I have another question. So we already talked about fears. We talked about, environment, living in environment, not living in environment. But tell me, if you really, really want to learn English quickly and easily, do you have this desire or not? Because everything starts with our desire. First, we need to have a desire. For example, we say, I really, really want this. Do you have this desire? Do you want to learn? Do you really want? So you have already noticed that I'm not just an ordinary teacher who teaches you grammar, vocabulary, and everything. If you want to become successful, if you want to achieve something, you need a combination of things. That is why I always combine teaching English with the mindset, with psychology. That is why the first thing, if you want to become successful, if you want to become fluent in English, do you really want it? Yes or no? Say yes if yes, say no if no. It's okay not to want it. If it's a no, don't be afraid to say no. Okay, I have another question. Do you want me to be your mentor and to be a teacher, like during this webinar, for example? Did you feel comfortable for learning from me? Did you like the way I explain things? Did you like the energy? Did you like the program? Because I also showed you the program, nuts. It's nuts, Yay, absolutely. Great. Amazing. Um, Now, are you ready to change your English and your life for the better? Because remember, you're learning English not because you want to learn more words or you want to improve your grammar. You are learning English to change your life. Because guys, oh my God, I can tell you from my personal experience, when you speak English, all the world is your oyster. Here is an idiom for your notebook. The world is your oyster. Okay, let me write it down here in the chat. It's very cool. I love this idiom. The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster, guys. The world is your oyster. It means that every door will open for you. Really, every door. Because when you speak English and you understand English and you're confident about it, you can study at the best schools, you can work at the best companies, you can meet different people, you have more opportunities. This is so true. And if you tell me yes, if this is a yes, there is something so if you say you want me to be a mentor, you want to change English for a better life and career, you really want to get to the next level, I have a program for 30 days. In this 30 days, look, during 90 minutes, some of you already learned 20 words, yeah? Some of you learned 20 words, some of you learned 5 words, etc. 5 words is a great result. You only spent 1 hour, and in 1 hour, you learned 5 words that are actually useful. In 30 days, if you take my program, you can learn minimum 600 words. 11 top grammar topics that you actually need for daily conversations. And the most important and the best thing about this program is that you only need 20 minutes a day or less. Really, it's that easy. This program focuses on vocabulary, grammar, and speaking, and it's 1 month only. So in 1 month you can see how you have achieved your goals. Let me tell you a little bit more about this. So you really need this course, my course, if you, for example, want to know really tricky grammar constructions and sentences. If you want to stop making mistakes, just like what we did today in the webinar, you correct small mistakes that you don't even think about. You learn grammar, like I told you about articles, yeah? You have to use article A when you talk about the job. And if you want to learn like this, small pieces of information, I will give you small pieces of information in every lesson, and this information is easy to remember. This is the most important, because my lessons are short and I only share with you what you need to know, not everything abstract about global warming or things like that. No, I will teach you what you need to know for daily conversations. This, so if you need this, welcome to my course. If you want to learn words effortlessly, yeah, if you forget words all the time and you want to learn them effortlessly, this course is for me, because for you is because you will have daily practice and you will remember these words naturally. And of course, if you have been learning English for many years, or if you just like tired of your previous experience, try something new. And this new thing is actually that, I built my course based on a bite-sized learning technique. Have you ever heard about this technique? It's a very, very popular technique now, not only for learning languages, but like for learning everything in modern, in American universities and European universities.